The best.
After your exchange, what was it like coming back to Istanbul? Can you introduce yourself and what was your project abroad?
Okay, so I am Ismail. So for the spring 2020 semester, I did an exchange program in İTÜ Ayaza in Istanbul. This destination was proposed from my school, which is the ENSEM at Nancy. ENSEM means Electric and Mechanic Engineering School. I always wanted to do an exchange program because I wanted to travel and look for other educational systems because I was curious about how it was abroad, and I had this opportunity to do in Turkey.
So why did you choose Turkey and no other countries?
Uh, Turkey it was for many reasons. The first is obviously because I am Turkish. Um, I wanted to discover with detail the student life in Turkey. I know how to speak Turkish and how to behave in Turk groups. I will be able to live more fully the student life in Istanbul.
Were you thinking about going to another destination as well?
I had this opportunity. There was the Sweden, um, Romania, countries in Europe, but I didn't want to go in a country not in the Erasmus program because it was easier to go in a European country.
What was it like being an exchange student in Turkey?
It was wonderful. At first, when I came, it was really great to be surrounded by other students like me who came from other European country. It was mainly Europeans people who came in Turkey. Some were in the same situation as me. They had Turkish origins, so it was funny to look for them. And they were all Germans. I was the only French. So it was really great to have this first feeling. And then the living in Istanbul, it was just all fun. I was there living with my cousin. We were doing a lot of activities outside of school and Erasmus organized activities. So I really lived fully my exchange.
What languages did you practice the most?
Um, when I was with the local people, it was obviously Turkish. So it was a good training for me to speak with them. I really have seen a big improvement in my vocabulary. I know much vocabulary than before, but also in English because all my courses were in English with other students who are doing an exchange program. I was also talking in English with them. For example, in the campus, I met people who were not in exchange program, but they were studying outside. So they were there for maybe 2 or 3 years, so many years. For example, those people were from Iran, from Azerbaijan, and other Middle East countries.
Do you think knowing Turkish, the Turkish language, is necessary in order to live there?
Um, I don't think you need to know the Turkish to live in Turkey, especially in a city as big and as touristic as Istanbul, because local are aware of people of coming there for the touristic places, so they know the English languages. I would think that the common people in Turkey don't have the skill necessary to speak with all people. Mainly, the people there are talking just Turkish. It might be blocking at some point if you want to do some things.
Do you think someone who knows only English would be able to survive and enjoy living in Turkey and in Istanbul?
I think there is no barrier to do so. You can always find someone who talks English, and as the people are very helpful in Turkey. You will not have any problems to do what you want in Turkey, especially to buy some things. You don't have any problems.
How much preparation did you have to do before going abroad?
Of course, when you go abroad, you need to be prepared. But for my case, I didn't have to do much, and this for many reasons. The first one is because I'm Turkish. I have the Turkish nationality. I didn't have to claim for a visa, and I didn't have to bother myself with a subscription to the healthcare because there is a general healthcare in Turkey. Also, it was really funny because I was the only one going to abroad in my school. So all the teachers were um, were fully for me when I needed them. So all my procedure took no time. My application was rapidly accepted by my school.
You lived on your own in Turkey, so what was your biggest fear when traveling and living there?
Um, I don't remember if I had fears, but the one oh, the show. I think my biggest fear would have been the campus because we're going to another campus with other courses, and I think I had this stress whether my education will be sufficient. Not have the same language as the one in my school.
You were scared of language barrier and of getting good
No,
results?
not at all because I know Turkish and I had my cousin would have helped me anyway. I didn't have to say it was comfy to go there.
And on the opposite, what was your biggest surprise when living and discovering Istanbul?
I think my biggest surprise was when I discovered the campus. I never went to a campus this size. The campus was really enormous. I was lost at first between all the buildings in the campus, but rapidly I discovered the campus, and I was amazed by all the facilities there were in this campus. For example, there was a Olympic swimming pool, so you could go there for I think 5 lira the half an hour exercise, not more a euro to 1 hour of
It was
swimming.
cheap and
Yeah, it
convenient.
was really cheap.
Yeah.
You had other sports facilities, also a lot of clubs, also a restaurant, which is also really cheap. Not really the best of qualities, but it was really good price.
So you would recommend the student life in general?
The student life in the campus was really good, I think.
Yeah.
There are a lot of clubs you could go in. Maybe it would be hard for someone who do not speak English because the students have maybe a lack of English skills at this level, and the clubs are for the most of the people first or second year, so they could have some problems to speak with them, maybe to the plants.
And outside of school, what was it like living in Istanbul?
It's Istanbul is a wonderful city. You have the old Istanbul, which is the district of Eminönü, which all the touristic life takes place, and I spent a lot of hours there because you have so much to discover. You can travel for hours in the ferries, doing the travel between the European coast to the Asian coast. You have a lot of restaurants to discover. The food culture is very good in Turkey, so I recommend every people who wants to discover new culinary culture to go in Turkey.
What dish
That's
would
it.
you recommend the most?
Um, could have some balık ekmek if you are near the coast. If you go to Eminönü, You can taste all the desserts. You have the baklava, the lokums, the have the pishmaniye. You have a lot of things to discover.
What is a funny anecdote of your stay in Istanbul?
As I said before, there were a lot of clubs in the campus. I seeked for a club to join because I wanted a permanent activity that I would do every week. So I found a caving club that were doing exploration of caving. I did a lot of would say that a lot of courses to be able to go in one of the caves. And the fact I think that I have went to a cave during my stay was a funny anecdote that I have. I was dressed like a miner with my helmet and the lamp on top of it.
It's not something you're used to do before.
Yeah, it was the first time I was doing it, and it was really funny when I think about it. I was really lucky to do so because 1 week after, all the campus were closing because of the pandemic.
Your school closed because of the pandemic, and how was Turkey affected as a whole, and how was your semester affected?
My semester it affected like I think other any other country. So when the first case was announced by the government the 15 March, um, the Ministry of Health told that all the universities and schools would close. It was dramatic because all the life in the campus had ended. After that, my cousin, and I went to my uncle's house. It was very far from Istanbul. All the daily life had changed.
And what about you? The classes.
The classes after the first case, there were a 3 weeks period of preparation for the campus to prepare themselves to the online courses. So after this period of holidays, all the classes were online. In my case, it was on Zoom.
And since you had online classes, and you've previously told me that you had the opportunity to come back to your home country, so why did you choose to not do that?
Um, Indeed, I had the opportunity to come back in my home country, but I really hoped that the campus would reopen before the end of my semester, but it didn't. So it was quite sad when I knew that it would not reopen. But when I think about it, it was also good because I spent a good time with my family in the hometown of my parents,
Yeah.
and I don't regret to not.
Living abroad, you were very far away from your own family and friends. Did you miss them?
Yeah, of course. When especially when you're abroad and you don't have an activity, um, you begin to be nostalgic about how it was before. So you miss your family, you miss your house, you miss your home country. So of course it is really hard, even if you have the conversation with WhatsApp or any any other means. It is not enough to fulfill this nostalgia.
And there are a lot of people who are scared to do an exchange semester or to just live abroad simply because they are scared to be very far away from their own references, from
Yeah.
their country, from their friends and family. What advice would you give them?
I totally understand to be scared of living far. Myself, I'm not really used to do so. To reassure myself, uh, I went to Turkey. So I would say that I'm not the best person to give advice to live far from your country because I never really did before. But sure, I think I would really enjoy to maybe make a travel much far than Turkey.
After your exchange, what was it like coming back to your home country?
When I first um, came in my hometown, I had this strange feeling of. I think I was already nostalgic about the time I was in Istanbul because it would have make already almost 4 months that I was not in Istanbul during the normal period.
Before
I
COVID?
missed this period, and when I knew that it was over, when I came in my hometown, I was I think a little bored.
Would you go back there someday?
Yeah, of course, for the city, for the living there, for the freedom I feel when I am in Istanbul.
Would you
For,
like
for
to go to other destinations as well?
yeah, of course, I would love to go in Japan, for example, to discover America, to go in other countries in Europe. I would love to do that.
And do you think now is a difficult time to go abroad to become an exchange student
Yeah, of course.
because of the pandemic?
I heard that people just postponed their exchange semester, but I think for most people, they have their Erasmus or exchange program cancelled because of the pandemic.
What would you say in general to someone who's planning to go abroad, who's planning to do an exchange semester maybe in whether in Turkey or in any country? What would you recommend them?
If they have the opportunity, just don't hesitate. Really, it's a good chance to go abroad, especially in a campus, because you will not have any other chance to do so. Because when you're working, uh, you will settle in a place, and maybe you will not go to school again. So, if you have the opportunity, just don't
Do
hesitate
it.
and do it. Just do it.
And overall, what would you say is your general impression about living there? And are you happy about it?
Yeah, of course, I'm really happy about my stay in Istanbul, even if it lasted only 6 weeks. Um, I enjoyed all the living in the campus and outside the campus. If I had the same opportunity, I would do it. The coronavirus really make the things really different. I have to accept this phase, and I'm okay with that.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience to everyone. Is there anything you would like to say before we end this video?
Um, like I said, pursue your opportunities. If you have the chance to go abroad, just don't hesitate and try to make it happen.